Squeeze it.
So there's chocolate in addition to the chocolate chips. Wow, okay, I never knew that. I make pancakes with oatmeal. Oatmeal, egg whites, cottage cheese.
Mr. Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, fellow members and guests, I'm privileged today to share with you my icebreaker speech entitled "My Cup Runneth Over." I chose this title because as I wondered how I would share the events of my life, I realized I had a lot of props that I could use to share how full my life has been. I'll start at the beginning. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, and when I was 2, my family moved to Minnesota. My mother's from Ohio, my father's from Minnesota, so I have relatives in both places and a lot of contacts in both places. Let's see, I should begin to set this down. Oh, maybe I can. As I was growing up, I was always interested in languages in foreign countries, and I studied French for several years in junior high and high school. And when I was 18, just graduated out of high school, I was privileged enough to have an exchange trip to France for a month in the summer, followed up again by another trip to Europe in the following summer to immerse myself in a German course in Austria. And when I was in Europe, I got this cup. It's a tiny little cup used to pour liqueurs in Europe, where they have a lot of wine and cheese and that sort of thing. So this is kind of a special cup that I've kept through the years on my dresser for reminders of those fun times. I was also, besides interested in languages and foreign countries, I was also very interested in math and computer science and analytical things. So I spent 6 years at the University of Minnesota studying computer science, where I got my bachelor's and master's degree in computer science. And this cup reminds me of all the days that I sat at I had a desk at the University of Minnesota because I was a teacher's assistant, and I spent many hours at my desk with this cup next to me, tutoring other students in their computer science courses. When I graduated, I got my first job, my first career job at Cray Research Supercomputers, where I tested their compilers. I was launched right away into their quality assurance department, so I tested a number of their compilers, but mainly their Fortran compiler. When I was there, I met the man who became my husband, and after just at the birth of my second child, I decided to take a voluntary layoff and become a stay-at-home mom for a huge switch. So that enters the next era of my life, at home with the kids. And in that era, we did I had a lot of Tupperware parties, and got a lot of non-breakable types of things in the kitchen. So these got put in the back corners of the shelves, and these got pulled out. These were very common sights in the house at the time, complete with chewed up little lids from little teeth. And this represents all the trips that I took with the kids in the car everywhere. I stayed at home with them for 15 years, and we drove all kinds of places, museums, zoos, parks, you name it. We drove and drove and drove all kinds of places because I like to do stuff. I don't like to just sit at home. And everywhere we went, we always had at least 2, if not 3 or 4 of these cups in the car with us, with all kinds of beverages that we refilled along the way because the kids were always thirsty. I also got some cups that represent my kids for each of them. And this is a cup I got from my oldest daughter at a special time that we spent at the Mall of America. We've always lived close to the Mall of America, so the mall kind of plays a big part in our lives as well. I was there on the opening day of the Mall of America, complete with one child in hand and one still inside of me, along with all the crowds of people there. And I got this cup with my oldest daughter when we took her first ride on the Ripsaw roller coaster, and followed it up with a trip to the Rainforest Cafe for Valentine's Day when she was 5. We also made our pilgrimage over to Disney World, and this cup is for my son, who was a born goofball. He's always been the comedian for everybody, and he swimmingly makes everybody laugh everywhere he goes. He's always the center of attention. For my next daughter, this cup represented her because she's always the very feminine person, loves to have fancy clothes, fancy jewelry, fancy hair, and she's always spends a good couple hours in the mirror a day. And then my youngest child, this represents her more so because she's more of a tomboy, loves to play with, she was younger, played with dolls and stuffed animals, towed them everywhere, loves animals, both stuffed and alive. Just a real fun, loves to play a lot, doesn't care about the mirror, doesn't care about TV. So along with that, I had to bring another representative beverage holder. We've had pets, and more pets through the years. One of the things I did as we stayed at home was we chose to homeschool for a number of years, 13 years actually. And being staying at home teaching, I thought, well, every science class has these little animals, so we had to have our animals. So through many years, we've had 6 cats, 3 dogs that had 7 puppies, 6 gerbils, 6 hamsters, a mouse, 3 rabbits, a bird, several fish, lots of animals. We've had quite the menagerie at our house. And in the later years, we went through lots of arts and crafts too. Homeschooling, we had to get the art in, so this is a cup that my daughter made for me at a ceramic class she was in, and these represent arts and crafts at home, where we put a little glue in here and made things, or we put fruit concoctions and made little popsicles. Finally, the later years, we did a lot of travels. We love roller coasters. We got roller coasters, several trips we took on roller coasters. This one's California Six Flags, this one's Ohio Cedar Point. All my kids love roller coasters. And the final cup I'll bring is my last stage here at Accenture. This is always on my desk, and it's nice to get a free cup here to finalize my speech. So you can see why I titled this speech, My Cup Runneth Over, and I hope that I've portrayed different aspects of my life and that you've gotten to know me better. Thank you.
Thank you.